What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
You don't know what that order is, Mr. Trash. I'd show you, but I'm too old. I'm too tired. I'm too fucking blind. If I were the man I was 5 years ago, I'd take a flamethrower to this place.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
I don't know how many times we can just say it in this world. The truth shall always set you free. This is Tim that's got my lawn and I'm Brownlee's of a Gen Xer. Oh, the light is being shined on USAID, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and the battle of wits with Elon Musk. You know, and that's a short battle. That's like bringing a straw to a tank fight. Oh, the Dems are scrambling. They are literally in freak out mode with everything going on with DOGE looking into all these wonderful things and all these wonderful spending programs and all this wonderful government waste. And the Democrats are like, well, how are we supposed to have slush funds for money if we can't launder it somewhere? The mob does not have. Sonny Corleone is rolling over in his grave because they never had an operation like this. But first we have to get to AOC. Oh, AOC. That bastion of sound bites. Calling Elon Musk unintelligent. Let's listen. We're going to try to listen to this minute 5. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through it, but we're going to have to try to listen to this.
This dude is probably one of the most unintelligent billionaires I have ever met or seen.
Okay, this dude, like, okay, right now when you're talking about intelligence and you start off the conversation with this dude, like, oh my God, like most unintelligent billionaire like I ever met. Okay, how many billionaires have you met, AOC? Let's give them something to talk about.
Are witnessed. Which, you know, you can probably even glean that from watching these people on TV. Anyways, all of that is to say is that they don't do their homework. Clearly,
the dude doesn't do his homework. He builds fucking rockets. He builds rockets. NASA is using is going to him for his technology because he builds a fucking rocket that can go up in the air and then land back on a platform. The solid booster itself lands like you know, like you've seen in a video game. And evidently, Elon Musk is so involved in SpaceX that he can, like, you could hold up a part of the rocket and he'll say, well, that's the anti-flux capacitor, and tell you exactly what it does because he knows every single nuance of his rockets and his Tesla automobiles. But this is the woman saying they don't do their research. This is the woman that spouts off facts and shit, and literally they're not based in any reality.
Like, they're putting 19-year-olds in at the Treasury. This dude is not smart.
They're putting 19-year-olds in at the Treasury. No, they're not putting them in at the Treasury. They are looking into corruption. And what does age have to do with being able to go through every single line item and say, okay, why are we sending $50 million to Gaza for condoms? Because when Hamas rapes Israeli women, I don't think they wear condoms.
And the danger in the lack of intelligence and the lack of expertise that Elon has. I mean, this guy is one of the most morally vacant. But
wait a minute. The danger of this guy not being, he only made himself, you know, he's from South Africa. He only made himself into one of the richest men in the world. What do you, and the brilliance of AOC, her claim to fame, of course, when she was a bartender, but she also developed and had a publishing companies for children's books, which failed, never got off the ground. And to this day, she still owes tax money for that to the state of New York. So I'm still not sure how she's in public office.
Also, just least knowledgeable.
And I love it because she pauses. She looks to the right because, automatically when you're looking to the right, you're searching for something. And usually it's not the truth. And he's the at least knowledgeable
about these systems that we really know of.
So tell us all about the systems of USAID. Come on, AOC, tell us about it. We want to hear about it from you. We want to hear from the intelligence of you about all these systems.
But the point is that...
Oh, wait, she has a point? I thought it was just the one on the top of her head. Hey-o!
What that means is that they're going to hit a button, inevitably. They are going to hit a button, and things can go sideways.
So she literally thinks... Because, Elon Musk is unintelligent. She literally thinks there's a button somewhere in the Treasury, somewhere in USAID, that if you push it, it's going to screw everything up. She really she thinks that there's all these buttons attached to the nuclear arsenal that's going to go off if they hit something. Hit this button, something inevitably is going to go wrong. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, this is just, I mean, it would be funny if these people weren't in a position of power. Forbes estimates Elon Musk to be at $426 billion, worth $426 billion. Now, people forget, I think a lot of people forget Elon Musk's, brief history. He basically formed PayPal. He became a U.S. citizen back in 2002. Then, of course, eBay acquired PayPal. Now, he used the money from that sale from eBay to pay PayPal to eBay to basically found SpaceX. Which was back in 2002. Now, Elon's been going on for a while. Elon's only 53 years old. Then in 2004, of course, he forms Tesla. He helped create Solar City, which I don't know if Solar City's still around. I think they might be called something else now, but they were the company that they were acquired by Tesla in 2016. And then they became, what did they become? They became part of Tesla Energy. Because I used to get the phone calls all the time. Then in 2005, he co-founded OpenAI, which at that point in time, of course, people know was the nonprofit artificial intelligence. Fucking Skynet. I'm still going to hold that against him that he formed Skynet. But this is a guy that's done all this stuff. This is the guy that's done all this stuff by himself. You go back to 95 when he had Zip2. Then he had X.com, which of course, and PayPal. Then SpaceX. Then Starlink. Oh, we always forget about Starlink, which he founded back in when the fuck did he found Starlink? 2015. He launched his own prototype satellite for Starlink in 2018. And of course, we all forget, because it was so a while ago and it was under the Biden administration, that when Russia invaded Ukraine, Musk gave free Starlink service to Ukraine at the cost of about $400 million. This guy is so fucking stupid. He's unintelligent. Of course, he acquired Twitter. And he's turning Twitter around. And Twitter is now becoming profitable. But this guy's a fucking moron. He's unintelligent. I mean, literally, sometimes you think you're crazy.
Are you crazy? Ow!
Yeah, I'm crazy. What made you think I was sane?
And that's literally AOC. Yeah, she's fucking nuts. This is the same woman that has been accused of being worth $29 million since coming into office. When she came into office, she was she allegedly had negative $8,460. But according to her disclosure, she had $40,000 in a 401k. And I love it because she was a waitress making $20,000 a year for only like 3 years, but somehow she had $40,000 in a 401k, which was provided by it was the Hispanic something fund. Now, she's definitely not worth the alleged $29 million, but there is rumors and speculations that she's worth $4.5 million off a $176,000 salary. Isn't that kind of strange? Isn't that kind of odd? I mean, think about that for a minute. I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I love it because I love Bernie Sanders. He tweeted yesterday, Elon Musk spent $277 million to get President Donald Trump elected. Since the election day, has become $154 billion richer. Not a bad return on investment. My reply was, unless you are Nancy Pelosi, then you basically took a pay cut. I mean, where do they get their data from? How do they know that Elon has made he's only worth $148 billion, but somehow he's become $154 billion richer? Can someone explain that to me? I mean, I would just like some rationale behind that. So now, of course, DOGE has their target on the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. Now, all these people are upset that Elon's going after this organization. How dare he go after a department, a group that is doing so much good in this world? How can they be going against a government agency whose job is basically to spread the American wealth and taxpayer money to the world around us in reference to foreign aid? How could this happen? Now, the USAID, of course, but people kind of forget, and Democrats forget, was basically established by executive order by President John F. Kennedy. And he did it because he wanted to basically bring together all the foreign assistance organizations and programs basically under one agency. That was kind of their thought process. And the purpose was for, the initial purpose was for disaster relief, poverty relief, technical incorporation of global issues, including the environment, now they added, U.S. bilateral interest, and social economic development. Ooh, that sounds like some wonderful things. Now, somehow this agency, which was founded, like I said, back in November of 1961, has about 10,000 employees. That's a lot of government employees. And their budget is in the billions. Yes, not millions. They are looking in the billions. And they're supposed to be helping the world one program at a time. It's very noble. It's a noble cause. Until you start breaking into what some of these noble causes were. Well, let's see. $1.5 million to advance diversity and equity and inclusion in Siberia's workplaces and business communities. Okay. They sent $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland. We spent $2.5 million for electric vehicles in Vietnam. We spent what did we spend? $5 billion for 4 charging stations under the Biden program? So I guess that is a deal. There was $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia. Another $32,000 went to a transgender comic book in Peru. $2 million for sex changes and LBG activism in Guatemala. Guantanamera. Another $6 million went to fund tourism to Egypt. Why do we need to send money to Egypt for their tourism programs? They also found out that hundreds of thousands of dollars that went to a nonprofit who has links to terrorist organizations. Now, the Inspector General even launched an investigation into this. But the USAID thinks they're above it. We have been trying to have congressional oversight on this organization for years, but they just decline Congress. Millions, of course, went to Eco Health Alliance, which was involved in the research in the Wuhan lab. Well, we needed that because if we didn't have COVID, I don't know what we're going to have. I love it. They also were funding personalized contraceptive birth control devices in developing countries. Hundreds of millions were funded for irrigation canals, farming equipment, and even fertilizer in Afghanistan, which then went to basically unprecedented poppy cultivation and heroin production. I'm glad we're funding heroin, because if you can't fund heroin, what good are you? I mean, there is just so much more corruption, and that's the thing. I lived in a I'm not going to say a bad place. I lived in a less than wonderful place for years, and basically, when you turn on the lights in my apartment, all the roaches scattered. Because, of course, when the lights hit, the roaches scatter. And I think that's the problem right now with the Democrats. The light is being shined onto their corruption and what they're doing. Now, I love it because spending under Joe Biden for USAID doubled. In 2017, spending was at $20.1 billion. In 2023, it went up to $42.4 billion. I mean, and I love it because, like I said, 50,000 went to fund condoms in Gaza. That's always my favorite. I love the $4 million funded for the Center of Climate Positivity Development. Okay, what the fuck is that? That sounds like somebody's laundering some money. Someone's washing their funds. I just watched Scarface the other day. And when Tony Montana goes to jail, or is going to go to jail, what is he doing? He's laundering money. I love it. $6 million for non-emergency funding for redundant administrative support for the Center of Excellence. Does anyone remember George Costanza and the Human Fund? Another $600,000 to fund technology assistance for family planning in Latin America. $16 million for institutionalized contractors in gender development offices. $37 million went right to the World Health Organization, who has no respect for us. Or they didn't. They're going to find out quickly, because I believe we withdrew from them. We can't keep writing these checks all over the world. I mean, and I love it because you had one group that says that basically said the USAID sent $102 million to the International Medical Corps to provide Gaza with medical assistance. Now, the International Medical Corps wrote in a press release they only got $68 million. Okay, so who pocketed the other 32 plus million? Who put that in their pocket? And I love it because it was the MIC was providing resources to operate 2 hospitals located in Gaza. Now, we all know that hospitals in Gaza were used to hide terrorists and hostages. Now, the people in Gaza love Israel still so much that they did a survey. And it turned out something like 70% of the population that they spoke to in Gaza still supports Hamas. Now, when Israel turned Hamas over a few years back, They had built all these greenhouses, all these power structures, all these, of course, all these temples. Well, as soon as Israel left, the people in Gaza destroyed all the... Now, the greenhouses were built to provide food, but they destroyed all the greenhouses. They destroyed all the hospitals. They destroyed all the temples. Because that's just, that's just the way they are. But that's okay. We don't need to talk. We don't want to talk about that. But like I said, I mean, it's like you can't make some of this shit up. $12 million in support to services for the Bureau of Resilience, Environment, and Food Security. Ooh, that sounds like someone bought a Porsche off of that one. I mean, it's crazy when you, and like I said, the liberals are literally fucking melting down. They are proclaiming war against this establishment. They are talking about going after Elon, going after all these people, like it's with a vengeance. Here's one of the Democratic representatives from the great state of New Jersey, basically declaring insurrection.
We will not take this. We will fight back.
Fight back. Fight back.
And as I close out, because I know we've been out here for a long time, and goddamn it, shut down the Senate. We are at war. Anytime.
Who are you at war with? We are at war. That sounds like an insurrection.
Anytime a person can pay $250 million into a campaign and they be given full access to the Department of Treasury of the United States of America,
Actually, they weren't given full access to that. But, again, with Democrats, why let your blind anger be clouded by facts? And can you stop with Chuck Schumer, though? Chuck Schumer is that guy at the party that no one really invited, but he just keeps fucking showing up.
I'm gonna stand with you in this fight, and we will win.
We will win.
We will win. We will win. We will win. We will win. We will win. We won't rest. We won't rest.
Chuck, you look like you need a rest. You have people spending
$1 million
on napkins for the Israelis, or not the Israelis. I should rephrase that. It's for napkins for the Palestinians, and that is a joke. But you are literally unfucking hinged. You are the roaches, and the light is being shined upon you, and you don't know what to do because all your scams, all your schemes, all your bullshit is finally being called out. And we got to listen to Chuck Schumer just a little bit more because I love Chuck. And we're going to get to the avocados and Corona in a minute, but we got to listen to this Chuck Schumer on DOGE. I still love it though. Remember, the USAID was created vis-a-vis executive order. Just remember that.
And the American people, mark my words, the American people will not stand for an unelected, secret group to run rampant through the executive branch. Being innovative is good. But Mr. Musk, this isn't a tech startup. These are public institutions that deal with things like Social Security and Medicare and national defense and provide for the well-being of the American people. And the American people have a right to be part of that debate. Part of that debate.
Isn't Elon Musk an American? Isn't he part of the American people?
The elections occurred. And one viewpoint got a few more votes than the other.
Like 7 million more. Not only did he win the Electoral College, he won the popular vote, and he won every swing state. They have not learned. This is going to be great for the midterms because they literally have not fucking learned anything.
But that doesn't mean we throw out democracy.
They throw out democracy all the time, the Democrats. I mean, literally, that's their thing. And I think they're upset because they think the Republicans are stealing their thing.
That doesn't mean what's been done for centuries in this country should just go out the window and be substituted by a small group of people who think they know a lot more than the wisdom of the American people.
The American people elected you. Less than half the country thinks that there's no such, there's more than just a pee-pee and a vagina. Maybe we need someone to come in from the outside and look at this garbage that's been running rampant for years and find a way to stop the corruption. And that's literally what it is. It's corruption, and you are so involved in the corruption that you no longer have any. You've been in office so long, you no longer have an opinion where you're basically there for the American people. I love it because Hakeem Jeffries talks about they're raiding the government. Basically, DOGE is trying to stop taxpayer money being stolen and wasted vis-a-vis fraud. But let's listen to Hakeem Jeffries because he's another nut.
They've done nothing as it relates to lowering the high cost of living.
They've been in office for 2 weeks, and they've done nothing. 2 whole weeks. You had 4 years, but 2 weeks they've done fucking nothing. Eggs are still the same prices. Inflation went up in December. Of course, Biden was still president. But don't worry, we saved money on avocados and Corona. We're going to get to that in a second.
At the same time, they are raiding the government, attempting to steal taxpayer money.
No, they're not stealing taxpayer money. And this is why, like I said, these guys are the roaches. Someone has flipped the light switch on and the roaches have scattered. They're not taking the money. They're putting the money back where it belongs, not being spent and help lowering the deficit. We are on the precipice of an economic apocalypse if spending continues at this pace.
That's what the situation at the Treasury Department is all about. We will introduce the Stop the Steal Act in short order.
Good luck with that, Hakeem. You don't have the House or the Senate.
To prevent unlawful access with respect to the Department of Treasury's payment system connected to people who are trying to steal personal, sensitive, and confidential information.
How are they stealing it? Could you explain that to me? Or is your stupidity, or should we just talk to AOC real quick? Because we know her intelligence is just, oh, so wonderful. You know what I love, though? They talk about the cost of living. They talk about bringing down the cost of living. They talk about this. They talk about that. They talk about how much they are in love with the American people, but all their policies do is hurt the average American. So, of course, when the tariff threat was going on with Mexico, Chuck Schumer went up there with his Corona and his avocados. So, look, this is going to cost more. First of all, he didn't even go up with a bottle of Corona. He went up with a can of Corona. And can't we just get avocados from California? And he talked about how your Super Bowl feast is going to go up so much more when these tariffs take effect. And tariffs are not taxes. We don't pay the tariffs. The company that imports the item pays the tariffs. But we're not going to get into anything such as that, because that would just make sense. But you're going to have to pay more for all this. And I love it because of the fact that the Super Bowl is this week. So I doubt prices on avocado and beer are going to go up in a week, because we do have an inventory in stock of these things. And first of all, you should be more upset about Modelo's. That is the largest brewery in Mexico, not Corona. But you know what? Chuck's got to have his props. And we give all the props to the stupidity of the Democratic Party. This is Tim. Let's get off my lawn. The mad ramblings of a Gen Xer. And I'm out of here.